We've made yet again intraday high on the Nifty, 5,086. We're going from strength to strength at these markets. If you thought traders were looking to take today's gains off the table, they're not. 5,086 on the Nifty. On the Sensex, 17,133. Good time to get perspective on these markets. Varun Goel joins us this afternoon from KC Securities. Varun, afternoon to you. 5,085 on the screen. Do you think the index is good for some more?
Good afternoon, Shruti. I think the markets have gone up quite significantly from the lows of March. I think based on 2010 earnings, we are trading close to 19 times and around 15 times based on FY11 earnings. And of course, the markets have continued to move up on the back of very strong global liquidity. We have seen around 17,000 crores of FII money coming in within September itself. And how long that's going to continue, it's a very difficult call to make. All I can say is that if you look at other emerging markets across Asia, Taiwan is the only market which is now trading at a significant premium to India. I think China corrected a little bit last month, and the premium that China historically trades as vis-a-vis India has been narrowing down. So I think one needs to be a little cautious on the valuation side. I think going forward, Q2 earnings are going to be the decider of the market trend in the short term. But I think from a valuation perspective, the valuations are looking rich, especially for the large cap stocks.
What's your take on frontline IT, Varun? It started off yesterday. It's actually sustaining its move today. You expect it to sustain till Infosys next Friday?
I think IT stocks again have run up very, very significantly in last 6 months. The reason being that the kind of pricing pressures that everyone on the street was expecting didn't materialize. Also the fact that the financials, US financials are a very big client of all the big IT Indian vendors, and they seem to have recovered very smartly from the position that they were last year. So fundamentally, there was a reason for a re-rating of the space. But I think from these valuations, I am not really expecting a very significant upside. At best, the space could be a market performer going.
The real estate space. Varun Goel is still with us. Varun, your reading on the real estate sector, the listed entities, the valuations, and what you're making of the huge amount of paper that's lined up?
Well, I think there has been a clear revival in residential housing demand. We've seen that a lot of companies, especially the larger companies, have moved very quickly from premium housing to affordable housing segment, and that strategy has worked out very well for them. Well, I think a lot of capital raising is happening in the space. The reason being that a lot of players have balance sheet issues which need to be fixed. I think players also are being opportunistic in the sense that market being at such valuations, it's a good time to raise money. I think one has to be very, very selective. Two factors we always look at real estate companies. One is that we look at companies which have a historical land bank as compared to companies which have acquired a land bank recently. And secondly, I think we would like companies which are more geared towards residential real estate demand as compared to those with commercial real estate demand, because I think there's still some time before the commercial real estate demand picks up.
It's not just the Nifty that's getting ready to shut shop at the highest levels for the day. Banking stocks have made a new intraday high for themselves. State Bank of India is now up a massive 6% in trade. It's by far the biggest gainer on the index. ICICI Bank not doing too badly either. 5% up on that counter. Varun, what's the call on the banking sector going forward?
Well, I think there has been a clear revival of credit offtake. I think for the first half of the year, we were looking at credit offtake of around 15%. I think going forward that should improve. There is a clear revival of demand from the retail side, especially the housing side. Also there is a lot of pent-up demand coming from the infrastructure place. There are a lot of investment happening in road and ports and other infrastructure sectors. So I think going forward the credit offtake should pick up. Also there is the feeling that the balance sheet issues in terms of the asset quality that the banks had should improve going forward, and we might have seen the worst of it going forward. I think from a valuation perspective, one would be more comfortable on the PSU banking space as compared to the private banking space because I think they have run up quite significantly and the valuations appear to be quite full at this point of time.
Varun, it's been a while since these stocks actually showed a decisive move, but what are you making at, or rather off BHEL at about 2,320 and L&T at close to about 1,690? Are they looking like reasonable buys for a slightly longer term horizon?
I think from a longer term perspective, if one were to take a bet on the revival of the whole construction activity, I think last year was quite bad for all the construction players. I think going forward, not only we will see a significant amount of addition to the order book, the quality of order book will also improve. Now last year we obviously saw certain projects almost just disappeared from the order books of these companies because these projects were never going to happen. So I think going forward the concerns on quality of order books and also on quantity should come down, and I think the margins should also expand going forward considering that the commodity prices are significantly lower to what the levels that they were last year. So I think overall, the whole engineering capital goods space looks good, and from a longer term perspective, I still see some value in that.
Today. Varun, one final thought from you. What's the call on Oil India from here on?
I think Oil India, from a fundamental perspective, looks good. It's the second largest upstream oil company in India. I think there is a very good policy development from the government side, in the sense that their LPG and kerosene subsidy are going to be directly borne by the government instead of upstream and oil marketing companies. I think Oil India had a subsidy burden of around 3,000 crores last year. It should be significantly lower now. And the company also has a significant amount of cash. I think going forward, as we see development of the gas grid in Northeast, and as that part of the country is connected to the national gas grid, it should continue to be a positive momentum for Oil India, and I still see some upside in the stock.
Good speaking with you, Varun. Thanks so much for taking time out and joining us today. Varun Goel there from KC Securities with his thoughts on the markets. That's it then for the September month, for the September quarter as well. Tomorrow we start off the October quarter. We're still early days into the October series as well. Tomorrow is the last trading day of the week as well. So let's see what kind of move traders come in with. It's been fantastic last couple of days. Yesterday was a 5,000 plus closing. Today was a near 5,100 closing. Let's see if there's still more steam left in these markets and what kind of global cues we have on offer. When we come back on the other side of this break, all the internals of trade as they shaped up. Stay tuned. We'll be back on the countdown in just a couple of minutes.